Imagine this. You stand at the edge of a cliff, heart pounding, not from the height, but from the paralyzing whisper in your mind. What if I fail? It's not the fall you fear. It's the judgment, the shame, the silent verdict that you are never enough. But here's the cruel paradox. The more you run from failure, the more it defines you. Why does the mind cling to failure like a curse, replaying past mistakes like a broken record? Why do we let an imagined future, one that hasn't even happened, dictate our present? Carl Jung warned that what we resist persists. So what if the key isn't to conquer fear, but to manipulate it, to rewire the brain until failure loses its power over you? What if the very thing you're running from holds the secret to your freedom? The fear of failure isn't just a personal weakness. It's a cultural spell, woven into us since childhood. Schools reward perfection, workplaces punish missteps, and society glorifies success while treating failure as a moral flaw. But beneath this conditioning lies something darker. The ego's terror of annihilation. Carl Jung saw this fear as the shadow's grip, the part of us that would rather stay small than risk exposure. Nietzsche called it the will to power inverted. We'd rather not try than face the humiliation of falling short. Schopenhauer argued that humans are tortured by an insatiable need to prove their worth, trapping them in cycles of anxiety and retreat. Yet here's the twist. Failure was never the enemy. It's the meaning we attach to it that corrupts us. We've been taught to see stumbles as evidence of inadequacy, when in truth, they're the only path to mastery. The real prison isn't failure. It's the belief that you shouldn't need to fail. So why does the mind cling to this illusion? Because it's safer to blame failure than to face a far more terrifying question. What if you're capable and you still choose not to act? This fear does not simply haunt you, it rewires you. Every avoided risk, every abandoned dream, every safe choice made out of dread carves grooves into your psyche. Over time, your brain begins to mistake comfort for survival and caution for wisdom. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thought, hands over control to the amygdala, the ancient fear center that screams danger at the mere hint of uncertainty. Modern society amplifies this trap. Social media parades highlight reels of effortless success, while algorithms feed you content that confirms your fears. Look how easily others succeed. Why can't you? The comparison is rigged, yet you internalize the lie. Jean-Paul Sartre saw this as bad faith, the act of lying to yourself to avoid the burden of freedom. You convince yourself you're not ready, when in truth, you're refusing to accept that readiness is forged in action, not in waiting. The cost: a life half lived, relationships never pursued, ideas never shared, a self that never truly forms, because identity isn't found in safety, but in the friction of becoming. The cruelest irony? The more you avoid failure, the more you fail by default. So ask yourself, what has this fear already stolen from you? And, more terrifying, what else will it take? The escape begins with a single radical act, reframing failure as data, not destiny. Neuroscience reveals that the brain is malleable. Every time you face fear and survive, you weaken its grip. Jung called this shadow integration. Instead of fleeing your inadequacies, you stare into them until they lose their power. Nietzsche's solution was amor fati, to love your fate, including every stumble. When a child learns to walk, they don't interpret falls as moral failures. They're simply feedback. Adopt that mindset. Treat life as an experiment where failures are just unexpected results, practical rebellion. Micro-exposures. Seek tiny, controlled risks daily to rewire your fear response. Post-mortem analysis. After a setback, ask, what did this teach me? Rather than what's wrong with me. Reclaim language. Replace failure with discovery or iteration. The goal isn't to eliminate fear, but to hijack it, to let its energy propel you forward instead of paralyzing you. As Jung warned, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Now, the final revelation, one that will dissolve fear's last illusion. Here is the secret your fear never wanted you to grasp. Failure does not exist. What we call failure is merely a story, a judgment imposed after the fact. The fall itself is neutral. It is the narrative of collapse that breaks us. Every master was once a disaster. Every breakthrough was preceded by what the world would label failure. But in reality, these were not endpoints. They were thresholds. Jung understood that the psyche grows only through tension. A seed must split open to become a tree. Nietzsche's eternal recurrence asks, what if you had to relive this moment infinitely? Would you cower, or would you choose to act despite the risk? The ultimate rebellion is this: stop asking for permission to stumble. The universe does not keep score. There are no cosmic judges, only the stories you empower. When you erase the concept of failure, all that remains is experience. And experience is the only true teacher. So stand at the cliff's edge again, but this time see the truth. The fall was never the danger. The real danger was never jumping at all. Now, what will you dare, now that you cannot fail?